Yes, thank you, attendees, for joining us, and welcome to this webinar. We would like to crave your indulgence to start the webinar in the next 3 minutes so as to have a few more people on the call. We will be kicking off at 1:05 on the dot. You have a very fantastic experience with us this webinar today. Thank you. Maybe while we're waiting for the next 2 minutes, let me sort of dole out the housekeeping rules, right? It's going to be more of speakers and moderator exchanging insights for the first few minutes in the session. And if you have questions, we will not be doing further questioning. It will be, it will be in writing. So if you have questions, please drop your question either in the chat box or in the Q&A box. We will definitely pick them up. And then as time will allow us, rest assured that we will attend to as much questions as we can take within the time allotted for the event. We enjoy you to feel free to, ask questions, and as much as possible, enjoy a very fabulous session with us this afternoon. We've lined up very experienced professionals who will be coming to us from, practical point of view. It's not going to be theory. They are all industry players who are doing greatly in their choosing field of endeavor. So it promises an exciting moment this afternoon. Yeah, without further ado, I will just then give the floor to Simisola Sugbeson, who is going to moderate the session for today. Over to you, Simisola.
Thank you so much, Joe. So hello, everyone. Good day, and it's so good to have you here. My name is Sugbeson Simisola, manager at Fintech Association of Nigeria, and I'm really excited to be moderating this panel. So before I go into introducing our speakers, I'd just like to give a brief summary of what this webinar is all about. So the theme for this webinar is Automating Digitalization for Excellent Service Delivery for Fintechs. And we all know that in today's technology-driven world, digitalization has become a vital driver of the change the financial industry is currently facing. And automating digitalization for excellent service delivery in the fintech industry is very crucial for staying competitive and meeting customers' expectations in the evolving digital landscape. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers. So the first speaker I'll be introducing is Mr. Lucky Anumaka, who is a senior manager at Zoracom. Mr. Lucky manages services and operations. And next speaker is Ms. Buki Osunkeye, who is the co-founder and head of growth at Pora App. And finally, we have on the call Mr. Chukwudi Unwokike, who is a client success manager at Netcore. So it's so great to have you all here on board with us. So I'm really excited about this topic, and I just want us to just dive right in. So speaking about customer management and being a client success manager, so Mr. Chukwudi, the question I have currently goes to you. How does the integration of automation in fintech services impact customer engagement and satisfaction?
All right, thank you, Simisola. So that's a question that is very close to my heart and close to my business as well, because Netcore actually does a SaaS marketing automation service used by Fintech organizations. And yes, that's correct. It greatly improves customer experience in a different number of ways. So the first thing is, it actually helps to create personalized experiences. So if you look at most fintech products today, you have fintech products where you interact with the product and you don't know their office, you don't know the CEO, you don't know the manager. Meanwhile, people are putting millions of naira into these fintechs, right? So these fintechs are translating all those offline comfortability that was done digitally. Now, how do you translate that? You have to be personalized. So marketing automation helps you to create personalized communication across the customer journey. So today with marketing automation, for example, if I am somebody who is a savings account holder, marketing automation will suggest products that is more suited to savings account holders. Maybe it's not a case of me having 5,000 naira in my account and you're telling me to get a house mortgage. I'm going to be like, where will I get the money from? So marketing automation gives you these insights to be able to do that. The second thing is round-the-clock customer service and instantaneous support. So the customer today is different. They are impatient. They have so many competitors. Almost every other app, once they get one bad experience, they are jumping to the other one. So you might not have the luxury of saying, let us wait till our customer service resumes tomorrow morning to address your issues. You are a business, you understand what the kind of issues your customers have. You are able to preempt it and solve solutions pending when they can speak to a customer service agent. The last key role I feel marketing automation would play is increasing the onboarding and the usage of features. So today, most applications you see have 50 or so odd features. Even though you promote the feature to me and you tell me what it's all about, you might not expect me to actually find out where the feature is in your app and be able to use it. So marketing automation helps you do that. It answers questions like, okay, since I told the person about this feature, has the person actually tried to use it? If the person used it, was it successful? So these are the three major things I feel marketing automation can help, from the customer standpoint for businesses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chukudi, for your thoughts on this. Mr. Lucky, right, as a manager of services and operations, what data can be derived from using the solution, right? And how can it help improve the operation of an organization, especially the fintech sector?
All right, sorry, get the question clear.
What data can be derived from using the solution, and how can it help improve the operation of an organization, specifically the fintech sector?
All right, thank you very much for the question. Yes, we're talking about the data that can be derived with the solution. We are talking about a mirror solution, which we manage. This solution is a unified vendor agnostic cross-technology and cross-silo automated network and service management for telco, for MSP, for SaaS, for cloud, for fintech, data center, IoT, and it helps them to gain digital value across all touch points. When you come to fintech space, where the importance of efficiency and superior customer experience can never be overemphasized. Automating your customer onboarding process, your payments and your reconciliation process, your risk management, your customer support, and so on, other aspects you can automate. This will help you to stay competitive, and it will help you to meet your customer expectation in today's rapidly evolving digital space. Mirror solution gives you the visibility into all the touch points of your automated payments and transaction reconciliation system. This includes the performance of all the servers concerned and their interconnectivity in real time. Mirror solution will help you to get that. Mirror solution offers automated root cause and impact analysis to enable network team to observe and isolate faults within the network and enable fast troubleshooting and error handling, which reduces mission-critical downtime on network services. And lastly, the Mirror solution provides flexible and individual KPI definition for real-time and interactive graphical visualization on your entire network and service performance with traffic behavior, your service level, service analyzer, dashboard, widgets, and weather maps to proactively identify and resolve issues within the network and service performance before it impacts your network and affects your customer baseline. Thank you.
This is very, very interesting. Thank you so much, Loki, for sharing this. Another question I would like to ask is, so Ms. Buki, how does the idea of automation, how does it influence the development of fintech applications and services?
Thank you. Okay, from a marketing point of view, I always tend to look at things from the customer point of view. The only reason that we're in business is to serve our customers, and that's what should inform our thinking on a weekly basis, every time we're meeting with our teams and trying to see how to improve our products. So what the product marketing and tech teams need to be doing on a consistent basis is studying their customer needs and their customer patterns. And when we talk about customer needs, right, we have this way of looking at our customers, thinking that we're competing against other banks and other banking services and other fintechs simply because we're in that industry. So what tends to happen is that, you know, a lot of teams are looking to maybe outshine their competition in terms of offering services. But I want us to remember that in today's digital technological world, we're competing against every single service provider in the consumer space. If the consumers are used to receiving their tech in some kind of way from telecoms companies or from their supermarkets or from their, you know, from their transportation tech apps, then you can bet your dollar that they'll be expecting. One of the things that is very, very important is when you want to automate, when you're thinking marketing
Buki, I'm sorry, we can't hear you anymore.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, it's better now. We can hear you now.
Okay, I think I dropped off a little bit from the because of the rain. From my experience with marketing automation tools, it should be an activity that is led by product teams within the organization. And the reason being that they need to be able to see the installation, integration, and all the tools that you're planning to use from the customer's point of view. So what the teams need to be doing is meeting on a weekly basis to prioritize out of all the plethora of automation tools out there, which one of them impacts my customer's life the most, and which one of them will add value to the way they do business with us, and which one of them causes them to spend more. Because at the end of the day, revenue generation is what we're all after. So marketing automation should be led by the need of the customer, number one. It should be prioritized based on what value it is adding to our customers' lives and what value it's adding to the bottom line of the company before we even think about implementing any tool at all. Thank you, Simisola.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Buki, for that beautiful response. And this actually brings me to my next question on how can one prioritize the processes that needs to be digitalized or automated? So Mr. Chukwudi, my question goes to you. How can one prioritize which processes needs to be digitalized or to be automated?
All right, thank you very much. So this question is a tricky question because it varies from brand to brand, right? We might work with Netcore. So Netcore has an omni-channel marketing platform that does automation with artificial intelligence. And the feature list is like 100 features, right? So chances are that most brands will not use all 100 of those features, but what leads to the prioritization? And I think I'm going to go with Buki's lead here. And I'll first focus on the customer. So the first thing I will do is I will think of which one would impact my customer the most today, right? So the first thing, okay, before I do that, I have to look at the data. So I need to say something here. If you do not understand the data of your customer, how your customer behaves, if your understanding of your customer is based on boardroom assumptions, I would say, then marketing automation is not the first step. First thing is you need to get accurate data about your customer and how they behave. Now, if you know how they behave, you will understand what their pain points are. Let me give you an example. We worked with an application once wherein on the registration process, you had to put in your BVN. And we found out that 85% of the drop-offs were happening at the BVN point. Now, note that it was data that allowed us to be able to do that. Next thing is to now go back to the product and understand why the product is causing that drop-off. If it's an issue of function, then it's the product team that resolves it. If it's an issue of understanding, then it's the marketing and communications that should understand it. Now, imagine if I'm doing like a payment reminder notification and all 80% of my people are dropping during onboarding. That doesn't work. So the priority is different from businesses and depends on the data that you have of the business. But I always like to focus on the customer first. What are their pain points? Second thing, we're all in business to make money, right? So what are the key things that you want your customer to be doing that they are not doing that gives you business value? Sometimes when you interact with marketing teams, thank God we are much wiser these days. They'll sell you clicks. They'll sell you installs. These days, people are asking me, how many transactions will I get? Who will be my number of transacting users? So you need to think of the things that will give you business value as per revenue. You need to think about the customer. Then the last thing I'll talk about is the quick win, right? So especially if you're a new company, you can be overwhelmed with all the promises and all the strategies of marketing automation. If you want to convince your board members or a higher decision maker in your organization, I really like to start with the quick wins. So what can I use marketing automation today that will tell my business that, listen, with automation, I was able to move this from X to X plus something %. And based on that, I'd like to extend it to other things. So these are the three major aspects I'll cover. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chukwudi, for your response. So you said something about understanding customers' pain points, right? And you also mentioned about finances. So my next question goes to Mr. Lucky. This is a question that I'm sure is currently on everybody's mind right now, because as a fintech startup, for example, most fintech startups actually do not have most resources right now. So how can a fintech startup with limited resources start incorporating this automation into their service delivery processes?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Yes, just as Mr. Chukwudi explained, the customers and the company that is the fintech company itself. Now, these startups, they can incorporate automation into their service delivery by taking the following steps. Since they are startups, they don't have much resources to invest in IT equipment and the likes of the robust AI automation. Just as Mr. Chukwudi explained, identify the pain points. In this area, you understand the areas where automation can bring the most significant benefits, because that is what every company is looking at, how you can maximize profits with little input. So this could include customer onboarding, the transaction processing, the data analysis, compliance, or the risk management area of the business. Assessing these pain points will help the customer to prioritize the automation effort that they want to put in place. After identifying that, the next thing you talk about is embracing the cloud computing. Yes, we all know about the cloud computing, investing in a huge IT equipment. But with cloud platform, this provides the flexibility, it provides the scalability, and also, as we all know, is cost effective. So adopting this cloud-based solution will allow the fintech company or the startup to leverage on infrastructure as a service. Those things are already in place for you to tap in. You don't need to start investing heavily on those devices again. And also, we talk about the platform as a service. We have this also in place. Reducing the need for extensive house infrastructure is the main thing here, because as a startup, you don't have all the financial power to do all that. And the third part of it is you implement robotic process automation. By that time, you must have gone some steps, starting up and leveraging on the cloud computing. You talk about the RPA. This technology will enable the fintech, giving the automation, automating some of the repetitive rules or the procedures that he normally does manually. So by developing some software like the software robotics, that you can automate processes such as data entry, document processing, reconciliation, and compliance checks. This will improve accuracy and speed. And as we all know today, the customer doesn't have that time to come back and tell you that I do not like this, I don't like it. They can easily swap. But with this in place, you are sure that your customers will kind of have that privilege, or the services that you are rendering to them, they will enjoy it, and your customer base, you have that confidence that they will be there, and definitely you are looking at making revenue when you have your customer base. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lucky, for that. So Ms. Buki, right, a question that I would like to ask is, what are the common areas that are lagging behind in automation?
This is my favorite topic. As a marketing strategist, I will always tell you marketing, marketing, marketing. You know, the honest truth is we're very advanced in Nigeria in terms of mobile banking and our banking technology services. You go to some countries and honestly, you cannot, I mean, when you go to an ATM or you do any kind of banking transaction, you don't get alerts, you know, you don't see your statements unless you personally request for them. But I like how very advanced we are in Nigeria with, you know, automating alerts and informing our customers. We're very advanced in those areas. But there's a pain point that I see that we're not getting right in Nigeria, and every opportunity, I always use every opportunity to talk about it. What is lagging behind? The way we do email marketing in Nigeria. For the love of God, if there's something that I want people to take away from here, it is that we need to re-strategize. We need to understand that it's a real source of real estate that we are really wasting in Nigeria. Let me explain. Email marketing and all sorts of marketing automation is not a one-size-fits-all. The reason we have automation, right, is that so that we can break down our content and break down our communication to different segments in our database. We've got tools here that, you know, my colleagues here, Lucky and Chukudi, are talking about. They've probably served, you know, majority of the banks where the people here work in, you know, the banks and the fintechs. Their Netcore has products for them, and so does Miro. But the challenge is that we're still doing a one-size-fits-all type of communication. The benefit of marketing automation is, one, allowing your data to tell you stories, right? There's a pattern that has been existing up till now with the way your customers behave. Let your data tell you how they've been behaving in the past and how they're likely to respond. So for example, if a customer has, like Chukudi mentioned earlier on about using, you know, maybe their bank balance to be able to predict some of the products to sell to them. Data analytics should be able to tell us the different buckets and the different segments of customers that we're dealing with. So we can use predictive analysis to know what to cross-sell and upsell. We could be making so much more money from our customers by offering them the right tools, after studying exactly how the data tells us they have been behaving over the past few months and over the past few years. So number one is predictive analysis. Number two is understanding what exit behavior. The data can tell you that, what does exit behavior look like? If I've been sending emails to this customer for how many months? For several months, and the data shows me that this person gets these emails and doesn't open them. That means they're not even engaging with us, right? Or if this person has been using our tool, our app, our banking app, maybe, on a frequency of, I don't know, let me use an example, 7 times a month in the past. And then all of a sudden it's reduced to 4, and all of a sudden there's a quarter, a period of maybe, 1 quarter where we have not heard from this customer at all. They showed us their exit behavior before, and now they have even showed us that they're churned. Yet this customer will continue to receive our Happy Christmas, Happy Easter, and Happy Salah emails without us actually using the data to teach us what to do, how to communicate. One of the key areas that I would expect, right, with marketing automation is that we used to recognize who we can engage with to use more of our products, or more products more frequently, and then we use it to recognize who is likely to jump ship to another customer, and we do something about it before they take that leap. If a customer has not opened your app in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, they've gone. So next day we start sending them emails and saying, we miss you, we want you back. We missed them a long time ago. We were supposed to have been telling them a long time ago, please don't go, please don't go. But, we find ourselves here. So what I'm hoping that, people start to get into now is a situation where product teams, marketing teams, and IT teams are working together to understand what to use the data to do. And not just that we implement a lot of tools, which, by the way, it's really heavy infrastructure, but we really need to know how to make it add value to our customers' lives and add value to the bottom line in the business. Thank you, Simisola.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Buki, for sharing this. I totally agree with what you said about email marketing. And this brings me to my next question. So we are all aware that the world is currently evolving, right? And AI is currently like the next big thing. So Mr. Chukwudi, please, this question is tailored to you. Where does AI and machine learning come into play in all of this?
Yes. All right. Thanks for that question. So before I answer that question, I want to talk about email marketing a bit, because it's something that is so close to my heart. Yes, I agree. Nigeria businesses in general can do a lot better with email marketing, but it seems to me that they are improving. At least it's better than back in the days. Somebody was telling me a story about 4 days ago, that a banking customer went ballistic in the banking hall because they did not receive a birthday email from their bank. So they said, every other bank has sent me an email. Why did you not send me an email? You do not care about me. So that just goes to show that customers' preferences are different. And like Buki said, we should always try to look at the data and understand what the customer means. I want to show, I want to really share a report for you guys that I believe would be great value to the audience. So Netcore has released an industry report on how Nigeria reads emails in 2022. We analyzed over 3 billion emails sent out to Nigerian customers, and the report actually shows insights on the kind of emails that work best with your customers. What was clear about the report is, first thing, is not the amount of emails that you send that makes your customer not like you. It is not the quantity, it is the quality, right? So imagine somebody having a customer service issue with his own debit card, and you are sending him a message about doing more with his card or her card without addressing the issue with the card. That would offend anybody, isn't it? So the whole point about it is you need to be agile and you need to understand the customer behavior. For example, we miss you campaigns. We miss you campaigns sometimes are initiated when business numbers are low, and it's not correct. So today we are like, oh, we have a whole lot of churn. Let us get all those customers back. But with marketing automation, what you do is this: you set a business rule. Once somebody stops using your product, in the next 3 months, for 3 months. As soon as he hits 3 months, send that person a personalized message. My 3 months is different, your 3 months is different, another person's 3 months is different. Because the truth is, the longer you wait before you send that message, the harder the possibility that the person will come back as a customer. So things like bill payment reminders come into play in automation. Now, let me talk about your question on artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence can help you do things that maybe you might not see that is that obvious, or can help you sift through data that, you know, in a faster time that maybe a data analytics team can do. In Netcore, we have some artificial intelligence features for fintechs. First one I'll tell you about is called send time optimization in emails. So as we all know, everybody has different kind of email behavior. Some people prefer to open their emails at 6 a.m. Some people prefer to open their emails in the evening. I personally don't read any personal emails during work hours. I just find that it distracts me. So if you are my bank and you are sending me, check out this offer, it's at night I'm going to read it. Now, at night, when I'm reading it, there will be 100 messages on top. I'm only a human being, right? So maybe I go down, I read the first 4 diligently. The last 20, I'm like scrolling so fast, right? So send time optimization allows you to send people their email at their preferred time. So with send time optimization, based on my historical behavior, I can receive the email at the same time, and I can send it to 1 million people en masse with their preferred time. Another feature that we have for fintechs is called app churn prediction. This is a very wonderful feature. So imagine if you knew somebody was about to uninstall your app before the person actually knows and the person actually does it. How does it work? It's not magic. It's using data. So what the platform does is it understands the series of behaviors people who have uninstalled have taken before they uninstalled your app. And we all know history repeats itself. So based on that, it's able to tell you these customers are likely to churn. So therefore, you have the opportunity to engage them with emails, engage them with push notifications to ensure that, you know, they don't churn. Now, I'll tell you from experience, since we are being practical, when you get these churn people, you will not get 100% because sometimes who wants to go would go. But sometimes this prior knowledge can allow you to save your churn by as much as 30%. Then the other thing that we have is called recommendation engines. So what is a recommendation engine? Just imagine if you see an analytic data on your application. One of the greatest problems of interpreting data is bias, which is why artificial intelligence comes to play. Sometimes when we have data, even as marketers, we report it the way we want to report it so that the report will be sweet sometimes. We all do that. But sometimes, I can see Buki is laughing. But sometimes... But sometimes we need a platform to interpret the data. Basically, I have all this data. What does it mean? So an artificial intelligence in Netcore called Raman can tell you, okay, the reason why your app notifications, the reason why your app launches increased in the past 7 days is because you send this email with this kind of content. Maybe you should try to do it a little bit more. So these are just the few things I will talk on artificial intelligence and marketing automation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chukwudi, for this. To be honest, I feel like I've learned a lot about all you've said, and I want to pick something that you mentioned about quality and not quantity, because that is very important. A couple of companies or startups usually focus on quantity that they forget about the quality and the importance of it. So my next question is going to Lucky here. Can you share success stories or case studies of companies that have effectively implemented automation for their service delivery using Zoracom's Mirror solution or Myro solution, sorry?
All right, thank you, Buki. That is Mirror. You know, Mirror, like a lady, most times before you step out of your room, you check yourself out before you go out. So just like the Mirror, when you come to technology part of it, our solution Mirror, just as I explained before, is a solution that gives you visibility into your network and show you if there is any bottleneck and help you manage it. Now, to your question, Miro, as we know, we have example of big telcos in Nigeria today that are using Miro. As we speak, one of those big telco companies, they use Miro to have visibility into their network. We have more than 29,000 network elements they have visibility into. How does Miro do that? There are about 4 important things that Miro does. Number 1 is inventory and discovery. Miro, as a vendor agnostic solution, it doesn't care about the vendor, because most of the management tools that we have today say this is for this vendor or the other vendor. But this Miro is for any vendor at all. It helps to discover the entire network and service connectivity relationship, providing the business with the status of physical and logical connectivity with device inventory, interconnectivity details. Yes, it will show you how those devices, just like your server, how it connects to, how your router connects, how your switch connects to your server, and it gives you the real life performance of those links. Number 2 is network configuration and management. With Miro solution, we deliver key network configuration and change management functions, including real-time configuration, your backup and restore, your policy and vulnerability management, and end-of-life service updates. Of course, you know that these are very important for you to have a healthy network. Third one it does is that fault management. Automated root cause and impact analysis features of the Miro solution has enabled these network teams to observe and isolate faults within the network, enabling fast troubleshooting and error handling, which reduces mission-critical downtime on network services. Of course, you know that when it comes to maybe your transfer and your transactions, you send, it did not get to the recipient, it did not get feedback. You know, most times customers will not wait to come back and complain. They will easily opt out of your services. But with Miro, you will be able to see these bottlenecks and fix them even before the customer complains. And the fourth aspect of Miro that helps these network companies to be on business and continue to manage their services is performance management. We have been able to provide flexible and individual KPI definition for real-time and interactive graphical visualization of the entire network and software performance with traffic behavior, service level, you have server analyzer, you have dashboard, you have widgets and weather maps to proactively identify and resolve these issues affecting the entire network and service performance before it becomes a big issue. So with these businesses that have been able to make informed decisions and positive impacts on their business. So this has helped them to proactively manage their entire network infrastructure and continue to render seamless services to their customers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucky, for sharing this. Although there's something I may be confused about, do you mind sharing more light on the discovery and inventory part? Because I know you mentioned that Miro provides like a solution whereby people can discover like their network and service connectivity. Do you mind shedding more light on that?
All right, thank you very much. You have different network. Discover this device in your network, no matter how many you have in your network, it will give you the inventory of those devices. It will give you their features. If you go to the health of this device, it will tell you even the days this network element came into your network infrastructure. If there is any change on the network, it will tell you the time because it has timestamp of everything. Now, when you are able to discover these elements in your network, it will be able to manage it. It tells you like, okay, you are server now. Maybe you are 5 server. You have like a 500 gig, your storage capacity. Now, this server is getting to 400. Properties of this device. The mirror will be able to send you an alert. The threshold you set, your file server is getting close to that. You say that again. So this will help you to monitor every network element in your device. It shows you at on a real time their current health status and also their performance. It gives you all this performance. So it starts from discovery, knowing that element 1 is in my network architecture, and it came on until you manage this till end of life, because it will also give you the end of life of that element.
Lucky, I'm sorry, but we can't hear you. The line is breaking. I don't know if it's your network. Okay, we'll just wait a few more minutes for Lucky to join back. But so I have just 2 more questions that I'd like to ask the panelists. And can you hear me now? Is it better now? I'm still struggling.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can now.
About discovery.
Okay.
Access network issue.
That's fine. Okay, so I think we should just move on. So I have just 2 more questions that I'd like to ask the panelists, and then we will move to the Q&A session. So please, if you have questions, kindly put your questions in the chat box below. We'll be moving towards that in like the next 2 to 5 minutes. Okay, so the last question I actually want to ask goes to Buki right now. So I know you mentioned something about marketing automation. Can you tell us the 4 areas for marketing automation? And aside from, where else can automation be implemented aside from customer onboarding, payments, and transactions? Like, do you mind just sharing like more depth on that? Thank you.
Okay. So you asked about 4 areas of marketing automation. There's actually so many areas. Every single touch point between a business and the customer can be automated. But remember, we said earlier on, only automated to the point that it adds value to your relationship with your customer and adds value to the bottom line of the business at the end of the day. So in choosing an area for marketing automation in your business, we need to work backwards, right? I'm sure a lot of the people in this on this call are in the product or tech or marketing teams, and they're really looking for how to improve their jobs and gain more street cred and stars with their senior management. So we start from the targets. MD and the senior management are going to tell us what targets that we have, right? And then you go back to your customer pool and say, you know what, which area or of the way that I communicate with my customers is likely to convert fastest. But there's something that I also want to touch about, because we've mentioned email marketing a lot and how we can improve email marketing. But we tend to now, because we're getting into automation and digitalization, we started forgetting that SMS is still a very, very valid channel in Nigeria. In fact, globally, even with the way automation has gone, we're still seeing as high numbers as high as 70% conversion with SMS marketing. So the way that you know, the way that you know to choose a platform for automation is by looking at your customers' behavior, your customers' regions, and your customers' channels. For me personally, I found a situation where when we're working in Project Pan Nigeria, there's certain regions where people tend to use more feature phones and hybrid phones. And whereas there's certain areas in Nigeria where smartphones are more prevalent, there's a high percentage of smartphone usage. So that's where you concentrate your email marketing on. If you are talking about, outside Lagos, outside the Southwest, outside South, you start to look at more of, an SMS strategy. But then let's not forget that for a lot of the users on smartphone, you already have this customer, right? They're already launching your app or going to your website. So in-app messaging, notifications, and a lot of all the other channels to do with your app and your website are areas that we tend to ignore a lot. So before you start any kind of campaign, you remember that you've got your targets from your senior management. That is what informs, how you go about setting a campaign to start to talk to your customers. Then you choose your channels based on the regions and the behavioral pattern and the channel usage of customers, right? I would segment and do an A/B test and just check whether, if I'm sending SMS to these people, let me see if I optimize it, am I getting a higher open rate than I would with email? Then you test a different batch and see that, if I'm sending emails to these people, I think, I don't know, Chukudi would know the answer to this. Open rates for emails are usually between 12 to 25%, So you start to look at a situation whereby when we're sending emails, right? If I send emails to this particular group of people, am I hitting any number beyond, 25%? If you're doing more than 25% open rate, you've got a great success rate, I'm telling you, So you say to yourself that, let's stick with email. Let's continue with email automation. But let's not forget in-app engagement. One of the tools, if we look outside of tools that are custom built for us here in Nigeria, one of the tools that I'm always very excited about is using something like Mixpanel to tell me to study the users in my app to see their behaviors, right? Are these people really launching their app very often? If I know that you're launching the app very often, then this segment, I'm going to target them specifically with in-app campaigns and app notifications. But for me, I'll reserve email automation and SMS notification more for those people that I need to bring them back into engaging with my product, bring them back into communicating often, and then use that as a channel to now increase in-app and, direct messaging through the app. So it's not just 4 areas, but there's many different areas, but we look at the reasons for using that particular kind of channel and that particular platform. There's also one that I actually wanted to talk about that we don't utilize a lot. Before coming onto this webinar, I did a little survey, right? I went onto the websites of quite a few Nigerian banks, right? And just had a look around. Now, I'm a customer that is not banking with you. I noticed that there's something that we're also not doing. We're leaving money on the table by not communicating with people that go to your touch points but don't take an action. So out of all the banks that I surveyed, there was only 1 or 2 of them who asked me to help me, or who asked if I was satisfied, or who asked to engage with me before I left their website. So that's another area that if we're not talking to customers who come to our website, if we're not engaging with them, trying to capture their details, trying to communicate either through a chatbot or requesting their email and their phone number to continue the conversation after they might have left your website, we're leaving money on the table. That was a very good chance to get this person to, take one of your products by just doing a simple, shootout of, something from a chatbot, some kind of conversation there, just to stop me from leaving, to continue to engage me, to ensure that I become a customer from that point onwards. So, I've talked about email, I've talked about SMS, in-app notifications, in-app engagement, and of course, let's not forget our website. It's another area that we can start a whole lead management, lead magnet pipeline from there. These are people who are faceless, they're nameless, but you have the opportunity to convert them into full-time customers if you're utilizing that channel properly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Buki. I'm actually with my book and pen right now, and I wrote a lot, and I'm very sure that our audiences have actually learned a lot from this session. So I just want to say a very big thank you to you all for sharing your thoughts, and let's just take a few minutes to, hear any questions our audiences have. So I'm currently looking at the Q&A section now, and I'm just going to read out the questions that we have. So a question from Yinka Bolatito Ojo said that, what list of softwares and systems do you suggest for a business who sells majorly on credit? So I think this question is still to Ms. Lucky.
Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. So there are a lot of technologies that you have in the automation industry today. Just as I explained earlier, is for you to do the survey and know where you have the pain points that you really want to solve. We have tools like the artificial intelligence. It will help you, like the startups, the AI first strategies institution in Fintech. It uses a greater operational efficiency via the extreme automation of manual tasks. Yes, you have some manual tasks that we do, but we want to automate them. And also the replacement of augmentation of human decisions by advanced diagnostics. Also, improved operational performance flows from the broad application of traditional and cutting-edge artificial technologies, such as machine learning and facial recognition, to near real-time analysis of large and complex customer data sets. So the AI banks also adopt the speed of agility enjoyed by digital native companies and users. They innovate at a rapid clip. They release new features in days and weeks instead of months and years. So you can see they talk about the artificial intelligence. You can use that. Now, the blockchain is there. You can use the blockchain for your automation, and also the cloud computing, especially the startups, when you don't have the resources to invest in a huge infrastructure. You can leverage on the cloud computing. You have your IT infrastructure and data centers already in place for you. It will enable access to flexible storage as well, and computing services at a very low cost. So at the same time, the cloud is also bringing out new formats such as open banking and banking as a service. So this shake off the old age relationship between customers and the financial services. So as you can see, you have products that help you in this aspect, but you have to do your research first. What is your pain point? From the manual process that you are doing, what is your pain point? Then you move it to, you automate it. This will help you a lot, especially as a startup. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucky, for sharing this. So the next question is going to Buki. Please, how would email still work, and how can one make the best of it if it still does?
Great question. Definitely email marketing definitely still works, but what we need to do is to sharpen our knowledge and sharpen our understanding of how to use it, right? Again, I go back to advocating that email is not for us to be just sending happy Christmas, happy Salah, happy Easter kind of mails. It's used to convert, to sell. It's a hot piece of real estate that we mustn't waste, okay? So as an email as a marketing executive in charge of email, right? I'll just give you some quick few steps. The first things first is know what action you want your customers to take. The reason that email seems to not be working for a lot of people is because we're used to just shooting it out and using it as an advertising medium, just as a general advertising medium like you would, a billboard. But a billboard is there for top of mind reminder, right? Just for top of mind awareness to keep your brand in the psyche of your customers. Whereas with email, you imagine a situation where you're tens of thousands of miles away and you've sent a message, you sent your brand directly into their phone. You have entered into their personal space. Don't misuse that opportunity. So the first things first, what action do you want them to take? If you get a target from senior management to say, look, we want to convert, we want to increase our portfolio this month by 100 million. That means you have a target that you say each one of your customers, you want them to invest a certain amount or take a loan of a certain amount. So just get straight to the point, right? You do, first of all, you've segmented your customers. So we're going to assume that you already know that if I send this email to this person is likely to convert to take a loan. If I send this email to this person, is likely to, do some kind of investment. So get straight to the point in saying, this is the product that I'm offering you. This is what it can do for your life. This is what the action I want you to take. And give me a specific space to convert. And I'm talking about me as a customer now. If you send me an email, right, I'm going to be looking for somewhere to click, something you want me to do next, right? And this is another area that I find that we're not doing properly. Call to action and engagement button. A lot of times I say, you know what, since I'm in this space, since I'm supposed to be a strategist or an expert in this, when I get emails from banks, I click, I open it, and then I click on whatever image it is, and this is that, and lo and behold, it's going nowhere. So you've sent me a creative material. You've said, this product could change your life. This is what we have on our app. This is what these banks, this my banking product can do to you and do for you. And I say, okay, you know what? Let me just indulge you. I click and it's going nowhere. So my message to all marketers today, right, is that ensure that you already know what response you want from somebody, because you're sending that message straight into their mobile phone. You're taking, very valuable piece of their time. We all heard Chukwudi earlier on saying he doesn't check his emails during the day. He'll wait till he gets home. So imagine the person, gets home, they take off their suits, they take off their tie and all that, and they sit down rather than eating a hot bowl of amala. Chukwudi has given you time. He opens his phone and then, you said to him that I want to offer you this one, but you don't take him somewhere in your website or something to do something about it. So, I mean, on a serious note, that's something that we really need to look into, right? That's the first step. So first things first is know what reaction you want from them, understand what customer segments you're sending to. Your data should have been able to tell you that this type of people will react in this certain type of way. So therefore, if I send them this message, this is what level of conversion to expect. Then, most especially, please, please, please test it. We have thousands of email customers. We have thousands of customers' emails and phone numbers in our system. Don't expect that, if I just blast out this email to everybody, then wait for a response. It's possible to actually take a little segment, right? And send and do an A/B test. Out of 100,000 customers that you're sending to, let me first send, this type of email to 5,000 people and this type to 5,000, this 5,000 segments, and see what comes up. If people are responding more to a certain type of communication, to a certain type of conversation, then that what the rest of the 90, is it 90 people we have left? Yeah, the rest of the 90,000 people in the database, then you're going to shoot this one that is working. And then again, test everything, optimize after this activity, so that by the next time that you have a next round of communication that you're sending out, if you're noticing that people, there's a lot of analytics you can do in the background. You analyze for type of phone, you analyze for type of region, you analyze for type of day that they're opening it, you understand? And if you notice that it's certain type of day people are not opening the emails, then shoot it out at the right time of day that you were getting a lot of conversion. If you notice that a certain region, certain customers from certain regions were not opening your email, that means that these guys are feature phone and hybrid phone users. The data cannot lie. So let's start to get people who love data, who want to experiment, who want to really look at what data is coming out. It will help you to optimize your job and do better at our jobs. I hope I've somehow answered the question, that email marketing still works, but if we're using it very wisely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Buki. You did so great, especially when it came to the call to action aspect, and also the A should be text, and very, very important. I'm just going to take this last question and then we're going to wrap up. So our attendant asked this question: how can Hi,
Simisola. Yeah,
hello.
I just want to add on what Buki said for email marketing. Hi,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I just want to add what Buki said on email marketing and support some of the concepts that she's saying. So in the email report that we did, we found out that the average open rate in Nigeria was about 16% open rate. Guess what the click rate was? 0.6%. 0.6%. So you can see that a lot of people have done the good job of getting people to open, but that call to action is lacking. That's the first thing. The second thing is, even though I cannot categorically disclose them, as they say in Nigeria, but I have some clients who are doing 45% open rates, half of 10%. What is the difference between them? Is talking about the attention they put in the email, the attention that they do to the data, how they are. I'm saying this thing on the call because it's beyond answer. So there are some platforms that you will use that will put you on a shared IP setup that don't worry about if your email delivers to inbox. They just charge you %. If you ask this platform, please, can you tell me how many of my emails go to inbox? Try it out. They will not answer you. One, they don't know the answer to that question. Two, you will not like the answer to that question. So it's always good to use a platform that does dedicated infrastructure setup. For a fintech, it is so important. There are so many issues also. I don't want to go into areas of phishing and spoofing and all of that. But you need to be careful with your setup so that, you know, you can, your emails would actually deliver an inbox, because sometimes you are sending out those emails, it's landing in people's spam. Nobody's looking at the email. And the last thing I'll talk about is your historical behavior. And it ties into this topic. That's why I want to talk about it. Automation. Now, emails have to move. There's something what Buki was talking about. We call it spray and pray, right? So your relationship with the email is like the relationship with the bullhorn and your eardrums. The email just comes, wow, and your email box is like, wow, I can hear it and all of that, right? Now, imagine if you had a friend that always spoke to you but never listens to you, that never raised a conversation related to what you are talking about, always sending you what they want to say. You will not like to have a conversation with that person. Matter of fact, after a while, when you hear the person's voice, you get irritated. You don't, even though the person wants to tell you something that will give you 1 billion naira, the voice is irritating you because the person has a historical behavior of not listening to you. And this is where automation helps you. Automation will determine whether your customer will listen to you later. Because you have shown that what I do extracts a response relative to what I do, personalized to what I did. The next time you send me a broadcast, I'll be like, this might be for me. But if you just send broadcast all the time, nothing is triggered, like Ms. Buki said, somebody comes to your website, he looks at all your services, he goes away, he fills a form. Sometimes you fill a form, they will not even answer you back. Can you imagine? We need to go beyond that. That's the thing. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Thank you so much, Chikudi, for sharing. I think our last question I'm just going to take is geared towards Lucky. How can credit organizations assist in helping to repay and creating a clean record for an individual?
We have credit organizations that are ready to help. Most times they buy over your loan. We have the Bank of Industry that are there to help, especially the startups, the fintech. So it would be, what we have there is for us to do our background check, our homework, not exactly what we want, because when we send this our proposal to this organization, they have to scrutinize us and exactly know where the fund is going. And when we come out with a reasonable answer to the question they have, they are willing to help us in setting up these startups. So it's for us to know our, like what you say, our pain points. Where are we automating first, and what do we need? So get these answers right, we can go for these credits, and believe me, you get what you want and set up your organization.
Thank you so much, Lucky. And now we have come to the end of our Q&A session and to the end of this amazing session. And I am going to hand over to Sheol to wrap up the event. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. May I join you, Buki, Chukwudi, and Lucky, to please look at the Q&A box and try to help attend to some of the questions. Yeah, thank you for your practical insight on marketing. But I think the summary for me, it looks like you have to just be intentional, right? It's not marketing, it's not something you just jump into, and then, leverage the available technology. And thank you all participants for joining us. We are from Fintech Association of Nigeria, and this is one of the ways we educate the ecosystem, especially business owners, on how to leverage, technology, digital data analytics, and all of that to better your business drives, right? So we are hoping to having many of you as our members. So if you are not yet a member, please feel free to reach out to us. I'll drop my email in the chat box. Reach out to us and be part of a very dynamic ecosystem. Of course, our international conference is also coming up in October, bringing the whole world to Lagos, Nigeria. Feel free to also engage us. And let me, in closing, mention that all our speakers are also available for private engagements. So feel free to send us email if you like to specifically engage any one of them on how to, forge a partnership with them and leverage their platforms to help your marketing plan. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. And we look forward to having you in a future event. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.